Hello class. According to engineer Drew Malamud, the recording industry is all about taking risks and experimentation. There are many factors to consider when seeking out the highest quality of recordings. My name is Matthew Phillips, and as a recording engineering student, I am eager to inform those individuals who share a passion for music composition as I do. Simple techniques will make the biggest difference in your tracks. And when you're feeling stuck, always go with what sounds best. Today we will be discussing 3 important techniques that will make the biggest difference in your music. First off is microphones, and which microphones to use for your different instruments and vocals. Secondly is where to place these microphones. And last is when to apply plugins and where to apply these plugins. Applying these techniques will enable your compositions to have the best quality and emphasis. The very first thing an engineer should take into consideration is what microphone they should use. My first example is of a dynamic microphone. A dynamic microphone's purpose is to achieve raw clarity. What you put in that microphone is what you will receive in the output. Some of your favorite music artists use these microphones on stage at the concerts you're watching. This is one of the most commonly used microphones for recording vocals, guitars, drums, and also in live performances. For example, when I used to play in bands, we would always incorporate dynamic microphones to fully express the raw sound of my vocalist. Now that we've discussed dynamic microphones, I want to discuss condenser microphones. A condenser microphone compresses the sound of the foreground and the background of the desired instrument or vocal and combines them together to make an equal sound. An article by Hal Robertson indicates that a condenser microphone is more suitable for recording purposes rather than live performances due to the background noise in live performances. However, the same source indicates that Elvis likes to use a condenser microphone in his live performances. It may seem a little odd, but the main principle here is to always do what sounds best. The last microphone I want to tell you about is a ribbon microphone. Ribbon microphones are typically used for recording drum cymbals. These microphones typically do not pick up high-frequency sounds and make the cymbal sound crisper, sweeter, and round. These microphones became popular recording the Beatles albums to achieve the desired sound of the drummer's cymbals. A little-known fact of these microphones, according to an article by Bruce Capman, is that no other microphones can establish this exact sound, and it's very important to include in recording cymbals. Now that we've established what microphones to use for recording, I will discuss the importance of microphone placement. According to Ola England, placing the microphone closer to the cone of the speaker gives the sound more presence and attack. The farther away you place the microphone from the cone of the speaker gives the sound more bass. By altering the position of the microphone by even a few inches or millimeters makes the biggest difference. For most instruments, the mic should be placed 2 to 6 inches away from the amp for electric instruments. According to an article by SoundOnSound.com, it's a fact that acoustic instruments need space for the elements of its sound to gel together. Placing the microphone closer to the acoustic instrument will ensure fingertipping to be heard. And I've played an acoustic show before, and placing the mic farther away works perfectly so the audience can hear balance in my music. My last technique is to know when you should apply plugins. According to the interview with Drew Malamud, he stated that traditional recording education says that you should record tracks with no EQ or no compression, and then edit them in the mix. But why? Say for instance you record a guitar track with fader, and you wanted to edit the fader more in the mix. But once you do so, the mix overpowers the sound. For safer options, it's best to apply these effects in the mixing process. Although the traditional way is safer, applying plugins before the mix can save you a lot of time. Always do what sounds best. If you're confident in the sound of your raw recordings with plugins, then do so. My engineer for my band applied the plugins on the final tracking, and I was very satisfied with the way it sounded. For experienced engineers, this process works best for them because they trust themselves in what they think sounds best. In conclusion, we have discussed 3 important techniques that will enhance your music's feeling, its emphasis, and its quality. Selecting the right microphone to record your tracks with will give your tracks a crisper, higher quality sound that only the microphones can produce. When recording electric instruments, place the microphone closer up to the speaker. As opposed to recording electric instruments, place the microphone farther away. And finally, when applying plugins, it's always safer to apply them in the final mix. Trust in your judgment to determine what sounds best. And no matter how you apply these techniques, Going with what sounds best will always lead you to be successful. My name is Matthew Phillips. Thank you very much.